What up, One Piece? I'm back. So this was a pretty good One Piece episode. There's a lot of things that happened that we need to talk about. In my opinion, it was a way better episode than last week because of the things that happened. But if y'all remember, in last week's episode, we learned a lot about Iogoro. He was basically the boss of the Yakuza 20 years ago. He was revered all over Wano, and he was friend with Oden, so that all that was pretty interesting. Obviously now he's trying to stay alive with Luffy because they're fighting a lot of people in a sumo match, so that was quite interesting. And one of the first things that we saw in the episode was one of these sumo match. We saw some of the troops from Kaido's pirate attack Luffy and Iogoro. There were at least four or five, and all Luffy did was use Conqueror's Haki, because they're really weak-minded. They're pretty weak, so all he had to do was use Conqueror's Haki, so that was kind of cool. Every time he uses this kind of ability, I love it because it's not something that we get to see a lot in the show, in the series. So every time he's doing it, it's awesome. And one of the things that I like even more is that since the Wano arc started, the animation and the art has been different. And when he uses Conqueror's Haki, it looks a little bit more like what he does in the movies. We see all the effects that they use for the Conqueror's Haki. So I'm glad that we got to see that once again. The second part of the episode was mostly about Robin, Nami, and Sanji, because Drake and Hawkins were searching for Sanji because of what happened in earlier episodes when he was fighting, and they're trying to find him, so that was pretty cool. Obviously, it continued what we saw in last week's episode when they were talking about Iogoro and what he did in Wano 20 years ago and what he was to the people in Wano, so that was quite interesting. Obviously, Hawkins and Drake knows who Robin and Nami are, so they were hiding behind, the ninja chick. I don't remember her name exactly, but I really like that scene right there because Nami had to show herself before they were attacked. So while Nami was talking, Robin was just hiding and you know. Starting to just see if Nami was going to get attacked, and Robin was really prepared. So I really like that shot right there of Robin just to show her desire to protect Nami. I thought that was great. But obviously, while all of that happened, we saw that Nami, was used as a fan service once again. Her towel. She didn't have a towel on her anymore. Everybody saw her naked, especially Sanji because he was in the hot spring with Nami and Robin in his jet black suit. He was invisible, so obviously we all knew that when he used his invisibility in a fight, we all knew that that was gonna happen at some point. But yeah, we all know that One Piece uses Nami and Robin and all the female characters as, fan service like a lot of other animes, And I think, I really like their design in One Piece and everything. So, Nami is supposed to look really, really good. So, anyway, man, it was kind of funny to see Sanji, bleeding from his nose. It's kind of a throwback from, when after the time skip, in the Fishman Island. It was happening a lot. But yeah, man, he appeared in the hot spring, and Drake and Hawkins saw him, and they were kind of in awe, because he's from North Blue, and they know the legends about Jet Black, a member of the Germa 66, so they were in awe, and they were kind of surprised that he was there, so I really kind of like that. Even though these guys are really, really strong, they were still in awe, and we saw Sanji fight them a little bit, in that suit, Sanji is something else, he's really, really, really strong. He was already strong, but in that suit, he's something else. So he was going at Drake and Hawkins. Obviously, they weren't using their full power, but it was kind of cool, to see them go at it. Obviously, we saw Sanji, Robin, the ninja chick, and Nami escape, the bath, and it was pretty cool, but hopefully we'll see more of them, because we learned a lot from them in the last two episodes, and this encounter with Drake and Hawkins was pretty interesting because they all knew about the tattoo on the ankles of the people, so that was kind of interesting that they knew that. We don't know how, but it was still interesting, so we'll have to see how they got that information. Now, in last week's episode, we learned that someone stole one of Zoro's swords, the Shu Sui or something like that. I'm not really sure how to say it or pronounce it, but one of his sword was stolen in last week's episode, and we finally saw who stole it, and it was that guy right there. It seems like he's collecting weapons, and one of the reason why he stole that sword from Zoro is because that sword is from Wano, and he said that he took that sword to its rightful place. So that was really interesting. It seems like he's a pretty strong guy. We also saw Zoro, kind of start to fight him at the end of the episode. So that's gonna be cool. And we also saw the preview for next week's episode, and it seems like it's gonna be animated really, really well for that fight, and I can't wait. I think Zoro will have to fight the guy that stole his sword, and another guy. It seems like maybe he's one of the samurai that Oden trusted, so he'll have to fight that guy too. So that's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a big ass fight, and we'll learn a lot more things, from what we saw in the preview. So I can't wait. But let me know what you thought about this week's episode in the comments down below, and let me know what you think is gonna happen next. It was a pretty good episode, and I can't wait for next week's episode. I do One Piece reviews every Saturday, so subscribe for that. But I also do other anime related things like Black Clover reviews usually on Tuesdays, God of High School reviews on Tuesday on Mondays. Sorry. Then I do One Piece, like I said. I'm gonna do a Sword Art Online review a little bit later today. And then my Boruto reviews are gonna start next week because it's still kind of filler-ish, today. So we'll have to wait. But yeah, man, follow me at Anime Specialist on Twitter and Instagram, and like, comment, subscribe. It would help my channel a lot, man. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Anime Specialist out. Peace.